$7,000 last night for all those nonprofits instead of just a plated dinner at the Best
To go
Western.
on
Like,
on the bus.
that's smart. I
Monday,
hope that
but-
carries on,
Yes,
that the
that
next
was
year,
really
next
Get
year.
somebody
Good to go?
Right.
host it, you know.
Well, it's just
Especially
it's-
that-
Since I've been out to, in there
Yeah,
before and after.
Meeting to order.
like GSM could do it, or, yeah.
I'll take approval of the last meeting's minutes. Anyone
I
want
move
to?
to approve.
Yeah. Anyone-
Second.
First and a second. We'll go ahead and move along with the topics of discussion. The city council action on the route bus schedule, effective April 1st. Maybe could you share what the council decided?
Yes, council decided that they do want to go forward with that. That was a very important piece for a lot of members of the council, that the veterans have a free ridership. And I know it's kind of a work in progress of how to prove, but we kind of felt that honor system and like some form of ID, military ID of some capacity, but I think that's kind of to be worked out. But that was a very strong thing that the council wanted, to be able to provide free rides for veterans.
Good.
And it was unanimously approved, so.
And then the children approved of what we had decided, correct?
Yes, it was what was decided at the last meeting. I don't remember what it was. It was an age limit, wasn't it? And number,
Right.
yeah.
Joe, can you kind of fill us in on what that was, just so we all kind of have that?
$1 per ride for school-aged children and up, and then 50 cents for non-school-aged children with a max of 2 fares paid per adult.
Great.
And then free fares for veterans.
Right.
Great. And we do have, I failed to mention, but Sarah, who's our lead driver, is with us today, so she can ask any questions that you have of her, of how's it going and stuff. She'll have a little report to share with us, but if you have any questions, she'd be happy to answer them for you.
I guess that was one thing that was discussed at the council meeting, was the proof of veteran. I mean, your proof of service or whatnot. Do you feel like that's gonna be an issue to you, Sarah, as a driver? I mean, like you were just talking about, you kind of get to know your riders
Right.
pretty quick, but,
Yes, and so the ones that I know have served, I've been telling them, reach out to Greg Peterson so he can get you the proper ID. I had 2 individuals that actually took the additional time and have it on their license.
Sure.
That say they're a vet, that they have served or veteran status. So I've just been communicating with those that I know, and if any questions come up, I just direct them to Greg and let
perfect.
him deal
Yeah,
with that.
it's
getting
a
them the
wonderful
proper ID.
resource.
But if they're not aware of that, Sarah, would you take a military ID from them?
If they have, yeah, if they
If
have
they
a
ha-
decent military ID, and then I would double check or just remind them, please, please get in touch with Greg to make sure we're
Okay.
good to go.
Okay, good.
Because he had told us when we first started talking about this, that he would give a pass or, something that would identify them. So I think that's the message we want to keep letting people know,
Right.
so.
Yep.
Perfect.
Good.
So I think that we're good on that, and we're all understanding of that, and we'll start affairs on Saturday, April 1st. Well, it might be a good time, Sarah, go ahead and share the numbers that we've been having too. It's been kind of impressive, I think.
Well, before I do that, I think it's interesting that we're starting on April 1st, because how many people are going to say, oh, are you trying to April Fool me, or what? But no, they will have to pay their $1 to get a ride. Or we can say, well, you need to pay $5. No, April Fools, just one. It's a deal today. Anyway, so looking at our rides, during the month of February, we again increased and went up to 334 rides that we gave, and 26 of those were on the 3 Saturdays that we were operating. But I was asked to do a total for, since we started in October to today or yesterday, and we've actually given 1,472 rides. So that's what we have totaled. So, yeah, people are very appreciative, again, not fully understanding, how well will this be received, but people are very appreciative of this service, so thank you for making it available to them.
What was ridership like on Bachfest weekend?
Actually, for me as the driver, it was great because I just had my regulars. I didn't have a single Bachfester.
Yep.
And I think we were kind of concerned about that, weren't we? That there could
Yes.
be people, but it was just a little concern with the,
Yeah, but it wasn't, after I thought about it too, I'm like, well, most of them have come into town. They already have their ride established, they have the bus, and a lot of them, they just drop right out there. You did see the crowds downtown, but, again, they had their bus who was gonna get them out there, and it was all good, so.
Sarah, are you hearing any concerns from riders regarding starting to charge a fee on April 1st?
So far, they've been saying, the concern that I've had is, do you accept tokens? Because, and I think partly they're used to Heartland. If they've taken that, they're looking, I can just buy a token and put that in. Somebody has asked about punch card, just that they have that instead of, do I have 2 $1 bills or my 8 quarters, carrying that. Because how many people, unfortunately, are carrying cash anymore? So that's really the only thing. Otherwise, they feel this is very reasonable, for them to be paying, so.
Do other services have some tokens or?
well, a lot of them do, but a lot of them are transitioning away from that to go to Fairless, where they have like a card. So they'll be able to load a card, and that'll eventually be what we go to in the future, but it's not going to be in the near future. That's why we were kind of leery of doing anything other than cash right now, because I don't want to invest money in tokens or in fare cards, if all of a sudden we're going to go to a cashless system, at some point, where people, that'll be an option. They'll still be able to drop cash in if they choose to, or tokens or whatever, but having the cashless system will be something that, will be forthcoming, but I don't have a time.
That we have now would not be usable on this bus.
No, because they were worth $1.50, so they'd be overpaying, but, I mean, if someone wants to drop a token, and I guess
Don't
that's
wanna
up
be
to
making
them.
change either.
But we aren't making change.
And we already have that in the bus too on the slideshow. It begins April 1st, cash only. We will not give change, so
Okay.
hopefully and now we will really start hitting that hard that they are prepared come April 1st.
So no 5s or 10s or 20s.
Not unless they want to give us a tip. I don't know.
And I would say in most metro cities, if the bus fare is $2 and you put $10 in the machine, you're not getting any money back.
Right.
It's just, it is what it is. They don't do change. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of following suit
right.
with other bus lines.
So, as Pat and I have mentioned previously, some of our neighboring systems that we share the software with are still struggling with their card pay. So we will continue to sit and wait until they got all the bugs ironed out before we take a serious look at it.
Okay.
We got enough things going on.
Yeah.
Will we have any kind of a transition from, the dollar, having to have that dollar versus, like you said, all I got is a 5 on me, I mean, I don't know. It seems that without notification of some sort, we should, I don't know how we could do it, but we maybe.
I don't know if if we could maybe we could maybe do a press release to the paper, to let them know that, starting April 1st, we'll be charging. We can probably take care of that, and let people know that there'll be no change given.
I think we'd have a happier riders if we give them some kind of a warning that, hey, you gotta have the actual amount that you
Right,
need.
right. I think some people I know have had a call today, and a fella said, "You mean it's free?" He was surprised yet, so that we were fare free this long. So, I think people are prepared, but
I do too, that
but-
we're gonna charge a fee.
Right.
I don't know that they're prepared to not make change.
change, yeah.
So,
I think the regulars that you have, it would be good to put something in the bus for the
Yes.
regulars to see, so that they know beginning April 1st, there will be no change.
Right.
Have a slideshow.
And
there.
right now, yes, I started that just at the beginning of March on the slideshow, but now I will also be posting the paper in the bus too. And Christy will be putting it on Facebook.
Yeah,
So
great.
Quarters will be no problem then.
quarters will not be a problem. They would be preferred over the dollar bills.
That being said, do we count the Herman box, fare box the next day as we do our Heartland cash and tokens? Do you want us to count your box on a daily basis? Someone from Human Services comes to the Heartland office every day at 1 o'clock and counts our 5 Heartland boxes so that there's a third party there to make sure nothing is missing. It would work slick for us to
I'd
count.
be fine with that.
And if you ever want that total, it'll always be at our fingertips to let you know where we're sitting at, mid-month, end of the month.
Yeah, we can set that up. Yeah, if you want to count
All
it
these
daily.
boxes, just so that everyone's aware, the boxes are, it's state approved. The key that opens the box to let the tokens and the cash out is only kept in Barb's office.
Okay.
We don't have a copy of that key, so we have no access to get into that box. You know, so, and that's been state approved. They've come out and audited us and said that they like how we do it, and we have a third party doing it. So one of our staff and one of human service staff come out. Like I said, she has the key. We unlock the box, we do it all in front of them. And we have a count sheet, so. Our plan is to just, I'm sure the city doesn't want to be involved with handling that box,
no, I think
That'd just be,
Yeah, if the process works, let's just keep it that way.
right. So thanks for bringing that up, because I never thought about that. We obviously had to shut down for a day and a half due to some inclement weather. And we let folks know as they were getting on the bus that we would, that decision was made early enough. We also posted it, we're now posting on KUIC, we're posting on KNUJ, and we're doing the Facebooks. And I think that we even let the city know, and I think you put it on your city website as well, so. We try and get it out there as much as we can. I mean, I think most people realize that, it's kind of bad out here, so we're not. And then we did have a Saturday, and I want to be transparent, in February, we had a miscommunication with one of our drivers, so we had a Saturday where we did not run. We realized it was after 10:30 when we realized that the driver hadn't checked in. It was kind of my error for not letting him know the day before. The driver didn't look at his schedule, and so it's kind of a comedy of errors. So we've kind of taken care of that, but I just wanted to let the city know that we did have a Saturday in February where we did not run, not because of a weather issue. It's kind of I guess just an error on our part, right? And like Sarah did say, we had her drive for the Bachfest because we were unsure how that was going to go. Do you want to share what your thought is for St. Patrick's Day? Because we are going to be running when the parade is going to be going the wrong way down Minnesota.
Yeah, so we will stop at Broadway House. It is the 5 o'clock loop, which is our last loop anyway. And it's tentatively, or for the most part, people are getting off, they've already taken their ride. They're not getting on per se anymore. We haven't had issues at the 5 o'clock. Anyway, we will be stopping at Broadway House. Then we will drop down to German to avoid the parade, any issues, and then get back on our route. But again, this has been posted on the bus. The sign is in the bus, making people aware that 5 o'clock loop, we can't do the downtown 1 and downtown 2 stop. And nobody has, what? They haven't had any issues. They just, okay, that works.
And then you had a question about the Ag Day parade too,
Oh,
right?
yes. Does anybody know, I know coming up Tuesday, March 21st at 10:30 is supposed to be the Ag Day parade. How long does that usually last? Does anybody have any idea?
No clue. I mean,
Because
we
we
could
would
probably
already,
find out, but-
we would already be through downtown by that point. It's just when we come back around, would we be catching the tail end if there would be any
Generally,
issues.
the parade
Yeah.
lasted 5 to 10 to 20 minutes roughly.
Okay, so there shouldn't be any,
I don't think so.
No, if you
With
use a
that.
whole hour, you should be fine.
okay. All right, thank you, I appreciate that.
And I shared this with our county board, and I just wanted to share with you that, you know, we talked about purchasing a bus, so many, seems like forever ago. The original purchase price for our local share was gonna be about $9,000, or your local share was gonna be done. That has now gone up, sorry to say, to about 18,000. It's basically doubled. We did tell the state that we wanted to move forward with that, because they asked us if we were interested in doing that. Hopefully, there might be some extra dollars coming forth. I mean, I've been to Transit Day at the Capitol, and I visited with some legislators about it, and they were quite concerned too. The state has actually kicked up their dollar quite a bit. It's the federal government that really didn't change their funding for it. But who knows, there's money always coming available, so.
What was the difference in the cost of the bus from when you originally did it?
Yeah,
Do
so
you have
it was about about $90,000, and it went up to $117,000. So anyone though that's purchased anything, you know, knows that that's just kind of what happens. Hopefully this won't continue, and hopefully we'll see at some point, you know, a lowering, you know, as supply chain issues, you know, lessen. Hopefully we'll see a change, but I'm not.
We see the same issues in the county for vehicle purchases.
Right.
They're not allowing the purchase that we actually made, and we're coming back and they're $9,000-$10,000 higher.
Right, yeah, because they asked us if we wanted to move forward, and that's why I brought it to the board, so we wanted to make sure, and I just wanted to be transparent with the city too, that your cost has gone up, you know, gonna be going up. We're also part of a mobility as a service platform, that there's a website or app that you can go to, and the Herman Express bus is on that app, so. That's something that will connect people more from, say, from New Ulm going west or east towards Rochester, Mankato area. It's like a one-stop shop, as Commissioner Winchell alluded to, though it's all app-based. It's not a call-in thing. So we haven't had anybody do anything with it yet. I'm not sure we're going to get a whole lot because we're kind of on the far end of it. We're the last Mohican on the route, so I really don't expect a whole lot of stuff from it, but I just wanted to let you know that is something that kicked off March 1st.
We are in a pilot part of the state that's
Yeah.
doing that. The idea of it is to eventually get transit so people can utilize different transit services to be able to get from point A to point B without having to call each individual one to be able to set up an appointment. But you just, you know, call or go on the app and
Right.
it arranges it automatically for you on that. So it just had a soft launch just a couple weeks ago, so it's in its infancy.
Right, yeah. So, and there's a couple of agencies not on board with it yet. They're still signing some contracts. Land to Air and the City of Rochester Transit are still holdouts, but they're coming on board shortly, so it's from what I understand. Also had a meeting about our electric buses. I don't know, we haven't ordered them yet, but there is quite a few dollars that are gonna be available. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. The electric buses, for 6 of them, for the 4 systems that are getting them, is about $1.8 million is what will be given to the state for this. There's money in there for diagnostic services, there's money in there for the chargers. There's also money in there for design and a construction of a facility. Since we are one of the 4, we're the only ones that have a facility that won't allow the electric bus to be stored. It needs to be in a heated climate, and it also needs to have something where we don't be moving around, because where we're at the buses right now, we're having to move, you know, out for the fair. So there's dollars in there, and I'm not sure if those dollars will all come to us, but the state was kind of thinking that since the other 3 systems all had a facility that would accommodate their buses, that those dollars could come to Heartland or Herman Express for that. So, and it's $760,000 for construction and $480,000 for design. So there's a lot of dollars in there. So that's going to help as
This
we
is
move
coming from
forward.
federal?
That's federal dollars. That's part of that Build Back Better program that went into effect, and these dollars were in that. So,
What was the entire amount for the state?
yeah, it's $3.9 million.
Just to Minnesota.
Yeah, just for our 4 transit agencies. So, we were probably smart to get on top of that and get that, and so, just wanted to update you guys on that.
Where's the location of it? This is a new garage.
It'll be a new facility. Where that will be is to be determined. I mean, we've been visiting with Sam Hansen on some different things, but nothing, we haven't.
So it'll house all the buses or just the electric?
Hopefully, we're hoping that it'll house all buses. I mean, it would make sense to have everything under one roof, but, for sure, the electric buses will have to be in a warm storage somewhere,
Just be concerned there'd be a wash bay in there.
it will have a wash bay. We will be washing buses. Yes.
Thank you very much.
And I'll call it the Tom Henderson Wash Bay. How would that be? Would you like that?
If there was a new building to happen in the future, dispatch would be under the same roof as the bus barn. Right now, the fairgrounds turns the water off based on what season it is where we store them. I truly believe we have a lot more issues with the maintenance of our bus sitting in a cold barn all winter long.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we get to this point and hopefully the maintenance issues.
So this funding would help, obviously, because it would help pay for at least the portion of it for the electric buses, and it would be up to the county then to decide if they're going to, and MinDOT, whatever grants are out there for capital expenditures, to be able to put in a different building where it could all be combined. So that's all to be told
Right,
down the road.
right. And I'll keep you posted on it all too, I mean, as we move forward, so.
It just wouldn't make sense to have them separate.
Right,
Right.
right,
Yes.
yeah.
Ever give you a day of when they're gonna make some decisions?
There's really nothing yet. I mean, they know that this is the dollars that we're getting and how it broke down, so that's kind of how it, stuff, so.
Just a quick comment. I had the privilege of going over to Marshall, and they've just had a recent building constructed, and it is so nice that the buses could, it's wide enough, they can drive in, they've got their angle, they've got their wash bay. Then you come from there into the break room, and then from there into dispatch area, where they had the individual little cubbies for each dispatcher. And then you had the offices right there. I mean, it was really a nice setup, and to have everything like that in one building would be tremendous. I think that was part of the, probably some state funding that I understood, or from, I guess I'd have to double check.
Big, nice facility.
It does,
In Marshall, right?
yeah, it is right in Marshall,
It's pretty newly constructed, I think,
Yes.
too, yeah.
yes.
So,
What a difference it makes.
so they've done these buildings before, so MinDOT is, they have people that would assist us with this, yeah, so,
For our size
right,
outfit.
right, so. I think that is about all I had. Is there anybody on the commission that has anything?
Can you
Sarah, did-
repeat my pen was warming up. Can you repeat the child fares, the ages and the fare?
I don't know what the ages are, but it's $1 per ride for school-age children and up, so I'm assuming kindergarten?
6, 7, yeah.
Somewhere around there. And then 50 cents for non-school age children with a max of 2 fares paid per adult.
So if a mom is getting out with 2 kids, it'd be $1 for 3 people.
I have one other question or something I'd like the committee to consider. With the nicer weather coming, I've had last fall especially a number of people ask about a bike rack. And I'm just wondering if I could at least look into pricing for a bike rack. I've done some work or looked online already. They're just attached to the front. They flip up. An individual can do it themselves. The driver doesn't have to get out. Flips down. They lift their bike up on it, and away you go. When they take it off, they flip it back up, and it's good. I think it. Especially with the summer months coming, we've got the bike path here in town. It's at least, maybe the pricing is gonna be more than I realize, but if we don't at least look. And
That'd be fine
just
with me.
wondering what your, if that would be okay to at least look into trying to get some quotes.
It'd definitely be worth
Yeah.
looking into.
I'd be fine with you looking into it and then just bring it to a meeting.
Okay.
Risk just liability for that of the bike?
I don't even know how other, I mean, because I've seen them on regular buses.
Oh, yeah.
They have them everywhere, so I don't know what that would look like. And maybe that's a
I know they don't
question.
want the driver touching it.
Yeah.
Because then if the bike falls
Or doing
off,
it.
it's
Yeah.
our liability, but if they're
absolutely.
putting it on and something happens, it's to their liability.
Yep.
The other thing I was gonna ask you too, Chris, was about the bird scooters. Are they coming back to New Ulm?
It will not be Bird. It will be a different scooter potentially. But yes, scooters will be here, and I would say they don't get to move on the bus. But we will have them potentially at stops when we go.
If you could make sure that they're at
Yeah, it-
most of the stops, I think that'll really help the last mile thing that we keep hearing about.
Yeah,
people-
it potentially would be a smaller rollout. I think the company that potentially is looking at it coming in, it's a different model, so they may be a little more sparse to begin with and slowly ramp up. So we'll see. I'll have more information by the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good, because, yeah, we definitely want them at as many of the stops as we can.
Yep.
Because I think that'll really, encourage young kids to ride the bus this summer. They can ride the scooter from their house to the bus drop and,
Perfect.
so.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and then we potentially don't need to stop at the field house. If they
Right,
stop
exactly.
there and
They
can take a
can
scooter
ride the
down
scooter to the-
and then
to the
back.
Rec center, for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect,
We'll get there.
great. Anything else for the good of the order?
Next meeting date?
Yeah, let's do that. I turned my phone off because I don't trust people aren't gonna call me.
Wednesday?
Wednesdays seem to work best. Is it like the second or third? Scott, wasn't that what was best for you with your committees that you're on?
5th, 12th,
Yeah.
19th, 26th?
Is the 19th a Wednesday?
Yep.
Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month.
Yeah,
April 19th.
April.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Did you like, I know, Tom, you said this is a better time for you. Is a noon kind of a good time or a bad time for people?
Saves me having to go back and forth.
Yeah. Does that work for the city?
I'm fine with noon.
Everybody okay with the noon then? Noon on the 18th then?
19th.
19th, sorry. So April 19th at noon. And then after that, we could probably discuss that we probably don't need to be meeting monthly. We could probably go to a every 2-month situation, as I think most of our decisions are getting hammered out and stuff, so.
Piece of paper, yeah.
And Lisa does a good job of sending out is everybody getting that from the city, meeting invites?
Yep.
Okay. So, one of the Kim, who's our representative, said she didn't, she changed emails, so, so she wasn't getting an invite, so, but, okay, with that, call this meeting adjourned.
19th, right?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.